All right, guys, I want to get to at least one or two more stories here, smaller stories. And this one, as you know, for those who are regular viewers, listeners of the live stream or the weekly news show, we are globally recognized as the leading gaming chair reviewers on the planet. I mean, now that Jeff's not here for this episode, I can say this with full confidence. And it's interesting because there's been we cover all the latest news in gaming chairs, of course, and Razer in the news for some gaming chair maybe innovation here. And the headline of the article is Razer's latest acquisition could level up your haptic gaming chair experience. So Razer and a company called Interhaptics are now one company. So they announced the acquisition of Interhaptics, aka Go Touch VR SAS. It's a company well known for its haptic feedback products. Now, Razer has made products with this company before, with Interhaptics before, including the Nari Ultimate headphones in 2018 and a haptic gaming chair called the Enki Pro HyperSense. Now, they said the company's going to remain independent, but it's going to closely meld with Razer's ecosystem. Interhaptics has developed some VR products as well, one called the Sense Glove, which simulates touch and interaction with virtual objects by giving physical feedback. And they're talking about how the rest of the article talks about how there's this potentially interesting future and applications of more haptics in chairs and in other Razer products. One thing we've seen, guys, is a lot of acquisitions of game developers, right? Bigger game developers buying smaller game developers. In the broader tech world, this kind of news like that I just read happens all the time, right? Like Apple goes out and buys very often small hardware companies with interesting technologies that 2 years or 3 years later eventually find themselves in an iPhone or an iPad. The fact that this is a gaming hardware company now doing it, I think is interesting, but I'm curious what you guys think. And you know, is this maybe the start of like an arms race in gaming hardware? Like, will we see maybe more acquisitions as a consequence of this?
I don't know. It seems like kind of a big move. I would not expect this from certain chair manufacturers. You know, Secret Lab has done a lot of cool collabs, but it's still very one-dimensional to me. A lot of the coolest innovation that we've seen out of the gaming chair market, honestly, has been from other companies that are just doing cool prototypes, like the BMW chair that we saw. I think there was a Hendrix Gin chair that we had talked about. Razer, I could see this working, but I can also see a lot of other chair companies just very happy with their current margins, with their current market and audience, and just wanting to create cool looking gaming chairs for affordable prices. I have been a known critic, I think, of too much innovation in the chair space, right? I am all for seat warmers. I'm all for back massagers, but I loved that Lamborghini Alcantara chair, that looked pretty neat, but I don't necessarily need to feel like I'm in the game. My controller vibrating when I play with controller, which is almost not at all anymore, was enough for me. I get why it could be fun, so I don't want to poo-poo this too hard. I love when companies think outside the box, when they want to take their product to the next level, when they want to make gaming a larger experience beyond just what's on screen or what's in your ears. So if anyone can do it, I think Razer is a good place to put your bet. Again, though, I just don't think a lot of companies are going to follow suit.
You guys have never used a butt kicker?
No.
What?
No. Yeah, Kevin's comment. Too much innovation in the chair space. How dare you, Jimmy? Shame. I agree. There's no such thing. Butt kicker was, it still is. You can still buy them. And they're big in the sim racing space. But originally they were designed like you could attach it to your chair, your office chair, and it sort of attaches to like the stem, of the office chair, and it vibrates to create more immersion with the game, right? It's haptics sort of on steroids because it's a big motor that sort of sits on the base of your gaming chair. And like I use butt kickers in my sim rig, right? Because when the rumble of acceleration of a car, the running over curbs and things like that, like a butt kicker can simulate all that haptic feedback. If Razer can do something next level with like real degree of precision and accuracy and sensitivity, I mean, I think this is really cool. It can be very game changing. The level of immersion definitely goes up a big notch when you add that into the mix. I don't know how you can say there's too much innovation. I don't think there's ever too much innovation. Chris says Paul is about to tell us his safe word. Chris, I don't even know why I read that. Let me get caught up on comments here. He says, Go was the first AR experience for so many, but nothing more than a flash in the pan effect. There really has not been another title to make waves. All the other titles have felt the same, a reskin. Bobby, I agree. That's what I said it exactly. I said they're reskins. And I am super pro AR tech, way more than VR. That I totally disagree. I think the promise of AR is more for like utility and work in my mind, less for fun. VR and total immersion, I think, is more interesting from a fun and game perspective. But that's like I just want to defend
Bobby because I'm with Bobby on that one. I'm against. I've really enjoyed AR, Paul, but I don't want him to feel like you're like you're against him when I'm for that.
I want people to disagree with me. That's the whole point of coming to the live stream.
That is.
Justin says, I think we'll see it more and more as a general gaming hardware space, like the Herman Miller X Logitech, Secret Labs partnering with everyone, Razer expanding into everything, and so on. Yeah, I think we're at the cusp of a little bit of an arms race with hardware, gaming hardware. Like I sort of see it on the mouse side, right, where it's like this race to 0 grams, more holes, more, right, like more lightweight, more wireless, more they get smaller and lighter. There is a bit of an arms race in gaming mice. And I think we're going to see this arms race in gaming hardware in general, and I'm all for it. Kevin says, you ever use a butt kicker? First entry into Paul's no context quote Hall of Fame. Yes. Taken out of context, I can see how this is a problem. Bobby says, I agree, but from a hardware standpoint, VR is 100 years away from wide adoption. I exaggerate, but still. Look, it's an interesting discussion, Bobby. I think we're just as far from AR being having wide adoption as we are from VR having wide adoption, because I do think in some ways VR is actually easier in some ways, not in all ways. But there's a lot of people who would agree with you, Bobby. I think, well, including Jimmy, clearly, there's people who think that AR is the more likely outcome, this melding of real and virtual together rather than total immersion in the virtual. Chris says people get LASIK to take off glasses, but here wear a VR headset. Okay, Chris, it's not the same. You wear a VR headset for a few hours. You have to wear your glasses
inside of a VR headset to see, wouldn't you?
This is true also. Chris says co-signing the AR play. All right, you guys ganging up. We'll see. I'm telling you, holodecks are the future. It's a world of VR without the headset. I'm telling you, that's coming. I don't know. It's not 100 years away. It's probably like 20 years away.